And I know you can stop this. I know you can stop this because
Cher, the eternal queen of glitter, towering wigs, bedazzled jumpsuits, and Twitter rants so scorching they could melt steel beams as spoken. And Donald Trump's combover hasn't known a single moment of peace since the instant she unleashed her verbal flamethrower somewhere deep in the bowels of Mar-a-Lago. Trump's ego crumpled like a lawn chair at a sumo wrestling match. You could practically hear the sound of bronzer cracking under the weight of public humiliation. His spray tan probably filed for emotional distress. He's the most disingenuous man I've ever seen. Cher declared in a blistering takedown that sent shockwaves through the political landscape. And I want to tell you, my people will not believe him for a minute. She didn't just clap back. She detonated a glitter bomb straight into Trump's fragile pride, leaving the former president's team scrambling to contain the fallout. While celebrities criticizing Trump is nothing new, there's something special about Cher's particular brand of unfiltered honesty that is MAGA loyalists foaming at the mouth. The people he will bring with him will put an end to any hope that women have of getting the rights that we had in Roe versus Wade, Cher warned, her voice quavering with genuine concern. They will put an end to gay marriage. They will put an end to gay adoption. It's not going to hurt me. I'm 78. It's not going to do anything to me, but it's going to do stuff to young people. And that really scares me, and it really bothers me. And guess who immediately lost her mind like a Dollar Tree confetti cannon on New Year's Eve? Caroline Leavitt, Trump's press secretary and full-time MAGA hype woman, the human equivalent of a Trump bumper sticker with Wi-Fi, blasting out absurd talking points with zero self-awareness. As if her only job was to be the human embodiment of the Make America Great Again slogan, Leavitt erupted like she'd just found out Starbucks ran out of pumpkin spice, sprinting to every available Fox affiliate, desperately trying to convince America that the true victim in this scenario isn't the guy who hoarded classified documents in his sock drawer, but poor Donald Trump, yes, poor baby Trump, who was just mercilessly spoken about by a woman in her 70s, who, by the way, has a better fan base and a stronger Wi-Fi signal than Leavitt could ever dream of. Naturally, Leavitt's mission was clear: distract everyone from the glaring absurdity of Trump's actions by pretending he's the real martyr here. Classic move. The Democrat Party has been completely captivated by these far-left lunatics. Leavitt ranted on Newsmax, clutching a picture of Trump like it was a sacred relic and not just another poorly lit promo shot from some bankrupt casino calendar. They are enjoying their lowest approval rating ever, because this is who they are trying to represent. These far-left activists who don't stand for anything. They only stand against Donald Trump. And they hate. You could almost hear the soft whimper of the photo's dignity being sacrificed for a primetime meltdown as she ranted. She claimed Cher's words were an attack on the American people, which in MAGA speak translates to, "Someone hurt my boss's feelings, and now I have to scream about it on national TV before I retreat back into my next Truth Social post." It's the same strategy every time. Make a dramatic spectacle, throw some buzzwords around, and pray the outrage machine keeps churning. Honestly, it's like watching a toddler throw a fit in the candy aisle. Only this time, the candy's made of recycled political rhetoric and a heaping spoonful of desperation. But let's back up a bit, because Cher's glorious takedown didn't come out of nowhere. It was sparked by surprise. Surprise Donald doing what he does best, making a spectacle of himself. This time he was babbling on stage like a malfunctioning Alexa, looping between complete nonsense and borderline incoherence, somewhere between inventing brand new syllables and confusing Iran with IKEA. He managed to insult half the planet, and let's not forget, in true Trump fashion, he found time to threaten civil war if he doesn't win the next election. Because nothing says I'm a huge fan of democracy quite like suggesting we should burn it all down if his precious tanning bed privileges are revoked. Classic Trump, am I right? It's like he just pulls random phrases out of a hat, throws them at a wall, and somehow, miraculously, people still think he's the genius leader we've all been waiting for. It's just the same tired theatrics and delusion wrapped in a less than shiny package. It's like he's trying to be a circus performer, but forgot his act. I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created, I tell you that. Trump boasted during the rally that triggered Cher's wrath. Naturally, Cher had had enough. One tweet later, and it was like Mount Vesuvius had exploded on Trump Tower. Cher, wielding all the sass of a diva and none of the legal liabilities of a former president, let it rip. She dragged Trump's leadership like it was a clearance rack. At Ross, unqualified, mislabeled, and probably covered in fake gold trim. Let's be real. Cher has survived Sonny Bono, Twitter trolls, and the entire 1980s. She's witnessed the rise and fall of musical trends, endured fashion disasters, and fought off cultural shifts with a fierce sense of style and wit that can't be shaken. Now, she's not afraid of a guy who thinks Diet Coke counts as hydration, and spell check is liberal propaganda. She's been through more chaotic moments than Trump could ever fathom. When Cher comes for you, she doesn't miss, and Donald, oh, he got scorched in a way only Cher could deliver. with the precision of a diva and the power of a legend. If someone said that my daughter was a hot piece of ass, I would put my fist through his face. Cher said, referencing Trump's infamous comments about his own daughter. Someone who would bring down the country because he doesn't win does not deserve anything, does not deserve nothing. He deserves nothing. He does not deserve any kind of respect. Loyalty. I don't think he has the moral fibers to rub together. Meanwhile, Levitt's idea of a power move was to throw a full-on tantrum on Newsmax, clutching that picture of Trump like it was a sacred relic, rather than just another poorly lit promo shot from some bankrupt casino calendar. You could almost hear the soft whimper of the photo's dignity being sacrificed for a primetime meltdown. As she ranted, she claimed Cher's words were an attack on the American people, which in MAGA speak translates to, "Someone hurt my boss's feelings. And now I have to scream about it on national TV before I retreat back into my next Truth Social post." It's the same strategy every time. Make a dramatic spectacle, throw some buzzwords around, and pray the outrage machine keeps churning. Honestly, it's like watching a toddler throw a fit in the candy aisle. Only this time, the candy's made of recycled political rhetoric and a heaping spoonful of desperation. Levitt's logic seems to be, if you yell loud enough and wave the Trump photo around, maybe people will forget that your argument is as flimsy as the paper it was printed on. Does the president feel that he was misled by his national security advisors, whoever it was that told him there was no classified information in there? Now that he's seen these messages, a reporter once asked Levitt about an entirely different scandal. I've now been asked and answered this question 3 times by both of you, and I've given you my answer, she snapped back, visibly irritated. The president feels the same today as he did yesterday. When the reporter attempted a follow-up question, Levitt cut him off with a sharp, "I'm not taking your follow-up." Trump's camp didn't know what to do with Cher's outburst. Usually, they're used to dealing with late-night comedians or bored journalists, but this was Cher. You can't discredit Cher. You can't call her a Democrat shill. She's been around since the Nixon administration and probably still has receipts. You can't mock her looks. She'll do it first and better. And you definitely can't out-tweet her. That woman invented Twitter rage before Twitter was even a thing. But don't worry, Levitt was on standby, ready to spin this like a carnival ride operated by someone with no depth perception. According to her, Cher is spewing hate and trying to divide America, which is rich coming from the spokesperson of the man who literally tried to divide America. With a Sharpie on a hurricane map, the Democrat Party has been completely captivated by these far-left lunatics, Levitt declared on Fox News. And I'm not sure which Democrat on Capitol Hill is going to stand up and be the sensible voice. But I won't hold my breath, and best of luck to them if one chooses to stand up. They are enjoying their lowest approval rating ever because this is who they are trying to represent. These far-left activists who don't stand for anything. They only stand against Donald Trump, and they hate. You've got to hand it to Levitt. She's loyal. Blindly loyal. The kind of loyalty you only see from golden retrievers and people trying to stay on payroll until the next indictment drops. She appeared on every channel she could find, clutching her pearls and shrieking about celebrity elites while actively working for a guy who lives in a literal gold tower and once tried to buy Greenland like it was a Groupon deal. Levitt's defense of Trump was so bizarre, you could almost forget this is the same woman who once claimed Trump had restored dignity to the White House. Dignity? Is that what we're calling the period when he held a press conference next to a Sharpie-altered map, recommended disinfectant injections, and rage-tweeted about toilets not flushing fast enough? To Levitt, Trump is a flawless demigod sent from the heavens despite being impeached twice, indicted multiple times, and more likely to end up in a courtroom than a church. And when someone like Cher, who actually earned her place in American culture, calls him out, Levitt turns into a malfunctioning bobblehead, furiously nodding and sputtering like someone just insulted her collection of MAGA-themed nail polish. Thanks to President Trump, Americans are seeing the first price relief in years, Levitt claimed in a desperate attempt to change the subject. The last inflation report showed the first consumer price decline in years, a decrease in energy prices, and real average hourly wage growth. President Trump is delivering on his promises to lower costs for American families and businesses. Prescription drug prices are down. Last month's drop in prescription drug prices was the largest ever recorded, and thanks to President Trump ending Joe Biden's reckless war on American energy. Gasoline prices and energy prices are down as well. Meanwhile, Cher is out here having outlived disco, survived the 80s hair metal era, and seen more presidents come and go than most Americans have had smartphones, while Trump hides behind his gold-plated insecurities and reposts fanfiction about himself on Truth Social. Cher walks into every room with decades of experience, raw honesty, and zero tolerance for fascist cosplay. She doesn't need a PAC, lawyer, or a teleprompter. She's got a platform, a voice, and the kind of credibility you only earn after surviving both the music industry and 10,000 interviews where Barbara Walters tried to make you cry. Trump, on the other hand, has Truth Social, a pyramid of unpaid legal bills, and a diet that consists entirely of resentment and chicken tenders. Cher is everywhere Trump fears to tread: reality, intelligence, decency, and the ability to finish a sentence without incriminating herself. While Trump spends his days rage tweeting in all caps about windmills and toilets, Cher's busy calling out the entire Trump circus, from the ringleader in Orange Foundation to the clowns in MAGA hats, juggling subpoenas. She doesn't tiptoe around the truth like his lawyers do when asked, "Did your client attempt a coup?" She just belts it out at full volume with backup vocals and pyrotechnics. You're morally reprehensible, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. Cher once famously said in a line that could easily apply to the former president, "You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell. You're not even interesting enough to make me sick." The Trump administration was basically a bad cover. Ban of democracy, and Cher's out here doing sold-out shows, roasting them all. She sees straight through Jared Kushner's haunted doll energy, Kellyanne Conway's unblinking gaslight routine, and J.D. Vance's desperate impression of a sentient flag pin. And let's not forget Melania, who's been blinking in Morse code for years. Straight, hoping someone, maybe even Cher, will read the signs. Cher doesn't need to take the fifth. She's taking names. She's turning Trump's fragile ego into performance art. Every time he opens his mouth to whine about witch hunts or how unfair it is that people expect him to read, Cher's there, metaphorically handing him a mirror and a thesaurus, and every time a new indictment drops, like one of her platinum records, she's already a step ahead, live streaming herself laughing. "I told you, in the short time we've been together, you have demonstrated every loathsome characteristic of the male per."